Better Booty Month 2, Day 5. I did take a couple of days off between Day 4 and Day 5 because we had to say goodbye to a very special pet. She wasn't doing very well, and needless to say, neither was I. So took a couple of days off, but I'm back at it. And today we are starting with the descending calorie ladder. So I have 30 calories followed by 25 calories, then 20 calories, then 15, then 10. In between each of those calorie burns, I'm going to have 10 bicep curls, 10 push-ups, and 10 lat pull-downs. The next set is an EMOM. It's 12 minutes long. The first 6 minutes is going to be alternating between 10 calories and 10 calories of cardio, so probably the rower, and 8 to 10 burpees, so back and forth. So minute 1 will be the calorie burn, minute 2 would be burpees, back to the calorie burn, then burpees, and so on for those first 6 minutes. 7 to 12 is going to be 10 calories burned, followed by 8 to 10 weighted glute bridges. So that's the EMOM, and I'm finishing up with the core, having 30 mountain climbers, so right, left is 1, and 1 minute plank, doing 2 rounds of that. There are no new exercises to necessarily demonstrate, but that's Day 5. Better Booty Month 2, Day 6. Just finished up Day 5, figured I'd press on. So Day 6 has a total number of reps of 48 kneeling cable kickbacks, that would be per leg, 24 45-degree dumbbell hypers with a 3-second pause, 60 single leg foot elevated glute bridges, 60 knee banded supine transverse hip abductions, and 24 B-stance barbell hip thrusts per leg. So these are done in 3 sets. So 48 kneeling cable kickbacks would be 16 in each of those 3 sets. And having a yoga finisher. So there are a few exercises that I haven't necessarily demonstrated before, so I will include demos of this stuff that's new. And that is Day 6. Kneeling cable kickbacks. For this, you want to place your bench in front of your cable stack. Depending on what kind of brace that you have, whether it's for the ankle or whether it goes around your foot, either one works well. You're going to have your cable stack at its lowest setting. Obviously clip yourself to your stack. You're going to be in a kneeling position. You want to keep your back neutral, so you're not going to be like overly arched or curved. You want to make sure that you keep your back as neutral position as possible. And for this, you're going to kick your leg back and bring that hip to full extension and squeeze your booty. Again, keeping your back fairly flat. And you can do these straight-legged. So my knee's not bent. I'm going to come back. Again, squeeze that booty as you come to full extension and come back down. Or you can keep your knee bent, come to full extension, squeeze your booty, and come back down. So straight leg, or you can keep that knee bent. And that's the kneeling cable kickback. For the dumbbell 45-degree hyper, one of the things you want to keep in mind is to keep your back rounded as you come up and go down, and you forcefully push your hips into the bench. Toes are pointing out. Hold your dumbbell, keep your back rounded. Forcefully push your hips into the bench, keeping your back rounded as you come up. So instead of coming up with a flat back, you stay rounded. And that's the 45-degree hyper with a dumbbell. Single leg foot elevated glute bridge. For this, you are going to need an elevated surface. you are in a supine position, so you're going to lie back. Your knees are going to be a little more than 90 degrees towards your chest, so you might have to scoot in a little bit. You can have your feet on the edge of that elevated surface, or you can have your heel on the elevated surface. Really depends on you and what feels best for you. You're going to have both feet up there. You're going to raise one, whichever one that you're not going to be working. You raise that one up. You can keep your legs straight, or you can bend that knee, and you're going to use your other leg that's on the bench or step or whatever it is that you're using as your elevated surface, and push your booty up and extend your hip fully. So you come up, full extension, and come back down. Full extension, and come back down. Where you place your hands is up to you. You can have them up at your sides with your fist clench, or you can have them flat on the floor, whichever works best for you. And again, this leg can be straight or it can be bent. Make sure you squeeze your booty as you come up into that full extension. Obviously, once you do all of your reps on one leg, you would switch and do the other. And that's the foot elevated single leg glute bridge. Knee banded supine transverse hip abduction. You want to have your band just above your knees. Supine meaning you're going to be lying back flat on your back. Your knees are going to be at 90 degrees and your hips are going to be at a 90 degrees flexion. And you're going to push your knees out against that band, getting your full hip abduction while maintaining these 90-degree angles. So you push out and back in. Out and back in. You can have your arms flat, or you can have them, you can be on your, like your elbows, having your arms at 90 degrees and clenching your fists as you do this. You want to keep your core tight so your back stays flat. You want to be like overarching. Again, maintaining those 90-degree angles as best you can. And that's the supine transverse hip abduction. B stance hip thrusts. The B stance hip thrust is pretty much the same as other hip thrusts except for your feet placement. So all the same rules apply. You're going to have your shoulder blades on the edge of the bench. You're going to keep your chin tucked, your head in a neutral position. The bar that you're using, you want to make sure it's evenly distributed over your hips. And if you have a considerable amount of weight, you might want a pad on your barbell. So your feet stay fairly close together. When you are up in full extension, your shins are parallel to the floor. So all of that is the same. And probably the easiest way to get into the B stance is to actually come to full extension in a regular hip thrust. So if you have a bench that's kind of high, you might have to walk yourself up. You want to come to your full extension. And how you place your feet at this point is you're going to take one of your legs and you move it out pretty much straight so that the leg that is flat, your foot that's flat on the floor, is taking the majority of the weight, probably about 70% of the weight. And your leg that you're standing on the heel of is taking about 30% of that weight. And it's really there just to keep you balanced as you are moving up and down. So same rules apply. You want to move from the sternum down. You're not swinging your hips so much as dropping down and coming back up. So this foot is placed pretty much in front of that other foot that is staying flat. So you come down, full extension, squeeze, come down, full extension and squeeze, So notice my chin is staying tucked. I'm not way back here. Just all very neutral as you move up and down. Again, this outer leg where the foot is flat is taking the majority of that weight as you come to full extension. So you do all one leg and then the other.